Hello and welcome to Home is Here. Thank you so very much for joining us. I am your host, Fisiani Sinyama. Today we are taking you down south in Africa to a country called Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe. The UK annexed Southern Rhodesia from the former British South Africa Company in 1923. In 1965, the government unilaterally declared its independence, but the UK did not recognize the act and demanded more complete voting rights for the black African majority in the country, then called Rhodesia. Robert Mugabe, the nation's first prime minister, has been the country's only ruler as president since 1987. With just under 14 million people, Zimbabwe is located in southern Africa between South Africa and Zambia. The climate is tropical and the rainy season is from November to March. The terrain is mostly high plateau with mountains in the east. Shona and Ndebele are official languages, followed by English, traditionally used for official business. There are 13 other minority languages. Welcome to the show, Nelly. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Fisiani, for having me.
Okay, so Nelly, I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to Canada.
I'm from Zimbabwe, and I came to Canada in 2011.
Okay.
And I went to Red River College and did my business admin marketing major.
Okay.
And then I graduated in 2010. Then I met my husband, and we had two boys, Maxine and Nathaniel. So
Nathaniel?
Yes.
My last boy is called Nathan.
It's a very nice name. I love
like
that.
it.
I
like
love it too, yeah.
Here in Canada, families are usually very small, just like yours. You've got two boys, right? Is it the same concept back in Zimbabwe?
It's totally different thing.
Yeah.
When it comes to family. Here, family is just myself, my husband, and my two boys. That's how I viewed like the Canadian family part. And when it comes to home, back in Zimbabwe, family includes your aunties, your cousins, your nieces, everybody. Like, the
even your neighbor.
Exactly, even your neighbor too. Yeah, yes, even your neighbor. Yeah, right. So it also included the extended family as well. So when it comes to decision making, it's not just myself and my husband and the kids. It also includes my uncles and my aunties as well.
I guess as well your in-laws, right?
Oh, yes.
That becomes another, so the family is doubled practically.
Including my in-laws. That you are so right. You're so right, yes. So that's how I see the difference, because it's more like here it's just you and your husband and the kids,
Okay, so what type of influence then would your extended family have over your kids?
Okay, that doesn't just, like in terms of influence, I start from naming your own child. If I had my boys back home, it would be totally different thing.
Yeah?
Because that will involve even my great-grandmom to name my child for me.
Really?
Yes, from naming, it starts from naming your own child. Like, it's not like you don't have saying, but it's that respect.
That's just the tradition.
For example, myself, I was named after my grandma.
Okay.
Yeah, so my grandmother named me.
So your parents didn't name you?
No, my parents only named one child in our family. That's it.
At least they named one child.
Yeah,
that's good. So they will influence in that way. And what other ways, like, would your extended family have over your kids?
Even in terms of discipline, it's not just me, the mom or the dad. My aunties, my uncles can discipline my own child as their own.
Really?
Yes.
And that's widely acceptable?
Oh yeah, it is acceptable.
That is fantastic.
It's normal.
It's the normal. So the child won't be like, I'm going to go tell my mommy.
Oh no, you won't even open your mouth to say that.
Yeah?
Never. You
is
can't.
Awesome. Okay, so of course you were brought up in Zimbabwe and you were shaped by that culture. So how has your cultural background helped you raise your kids here in Canada?
I'll start by disciplining my own children. Like I've taught them to have respect, to have good manners.
Yeah.
For example, when we have visitors, adults coming over to our house, we make sure my kids come in and greet the adults. They don't just, walk without saying, hi, good afternoon, good morning, things like that. And also help them to know that, when there are elders in the house, they shouldn't jump on the couches running around. They know as soon as they are done their greetings, they have to go to their rooms to do their stuff.
They have to listen to mommy.
Exactly. They have really to listen to their parents. Yeah.
In as much as social etiquette is important and family is important, religion is a big part of people's lives, families and communities. So Nelly, do you practice any religion at all?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
It's more like a must when we're growing up.
Yeah?
Yes, I grew up in a Christian family, and yeah, mostly Zimbabwe is Christians.
Okay.
Yeah, we have some other religions,
Yeah.
but like I think 90% of Zimbabweans is Christians.
Okay.
And it's a must-do kind of a
Yes.
thing, yeah.
And it's important, obviously.
It
to
is
you.
also important
Why is
to
it
me.
important to
It's
you?
important to me because, firstly, it's something that I grew in. It's something that I feel like is part of me.
Yeah.
And I also feel like without God, you are nothing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I believe in God. I believe for me to be here today is because of God.
That's awesome.
So I'm even trying to do the same for my boys and my family to see, you know, they have to grow that way. And with God, I feel like you learn also a lot of respect. You learn, it's also part of disciplining
Yes.
myself and my kids as well. So I can't do anything without God, and I grew up like that, and I'm gonna continue. Raising
That
my
is
kids
wonderful.
that
You
way.
are very convinced. It's like it's
I
God
am.
for me, and
And
this
nothing
is what
else.
it is. That is
Exactly.
wonderful.
Exactly.
Well, when we come back, we're going to be talking about community, and Nelly is still here. We'll be talking food, and she has a game that she used to play as a young girl that she will show us how to play right after this. Welcome back to Home is Here. If you're just joining us, our guest country today is Zimbabwe from Southern Africa, and we have Nelly with us helping us learn a little bit about that culture. So Nelly, let's talk a little bit about communities. So for example, here in North America, when a child is 18 years of age, they are able to go out of the house and live on their own. Is that the same in Zimbabwe?
No.
I like your no. It's very defined no.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so tell us a little bit about
it. It's totally different, but it also depends.
Okay, okay.
But the huge thing is a no.
Fantastic. So tell us about it.
Yes, back home, you know, it's more like when you are still, when you are not married, or you have to stay home.
Okay.
Yes, you stay. It doesn't matter how old you are. You stay
Really?
with your parents. It's either you stay with your parents or you stay with your uncle or your aunt.
It has to be family.
It has to be family, yes.
Interesting.
So yeah, we normally here it's like 18 years, right? We can move out if you want.
Yeah.
It's not like you are forced to move out,
No,
but you can,
it's
right?
a choice.
It's a
Yeah.
choice, yes. Then back home, I think it's like 21. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's 21.
Okay.
It's not like you can move out, but you also have a little saying in decision making. Not
Okay.
that much, because it has to be older than
If they say you are not going anywhere,
if they say you're not
you
going
just let
anywhere,
it be.
you stay. Yes, yes, you have to stay. Then, for example, let's say if you got a job somewhere, you got employed somewhere, maybe out of that city. One, your parents will look which relative stays there.
I love that.
They have to know if there is an uncle, an auntie, or maybe
A
a cousin
friend,
or a friend
yeah.
of theirs that they trust. Then they'll tell you, you know what, you move there, yeah, it's okay because there's uncle that you are going to stay with. So yeah, then maybe the chances whereby there's nobody, and you know, financially, you know, you need to live, you need to survive. So because of that, they might let you go, but it will be really hard for them to let go.
That is
And they'll be
interesting.
checking on you, and they'll make sure every weekend we are back. They still have a say, home to visit. Yeah, that's how things are back home.
That is exciting. You know, I like how it's that way, but yet it's very acceptable. Like everybody accepts it. They just know that's the way it is. You know, the family has a lot of say in how a home is run.
Yes, yes.
That is awesome. Okay, so let's talk about the exciting things now. Let's talk weddings.
Wow.
Yes. I want you to tell us a bit, not a bit, a whole lot of what you can tell us about weddings
Okay.
and how they happen in Zimbabwe.
Yes, back home, before you do the wedding, like the church wedding, the wedding thing, there was what they call dowry. That has to be paid by the husband side of the family, or the husband to the woman's side of the family before the wedding.
Okay.
This has to be done in forms of money,
Yes.
in forms of cows, goats, well, yeah, whatever. That the side of the family for the woman that the guy is getting married to, they have to sit down with the list of the things that they expect the in-law to bring over.
Awesome.
To the woman's side. So this thing is kind of a huge thing because it's going to be a date set for that occasion.
Okay, so it's not just by the way, let's make an appointment. It's actually an occasion.
It's a huge thing.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of food, a lot of dancing, you know. So yeah, when they set a date, they will tell them to their in-laws to be that, you know, on this date, that's when we are free. If that date goes along with the in-laws, let's say, you know, if they're okay with the date, they'll say, yeah, sure. So on the day when they are coming, they have to bring the grocery. There's a list for the grocery too. Then they bring that grocery. That grocery is used on that day to make some meals
for everybody.
For everybody who is there for the occasion. So there will be the side of the guy's family and the side of the woman's family.
Okay.
That includes, remember, the extended part, it comes there.
Okay, so the uncles will be there.
The aunties, the uncles. My aunties as in my brother's sisters, my aunties as in my mom's sisters, they all be there.
Interesting.
And him, he can bring maybe his dad, his uncle, maybe his mom's brother, whoever he is comfortable to bring. He can bring them over. So there will be like someone who will be like, you know, they won't be in the same room anyways at first. They will be in another room, the in-laws to be, and there will be the family for the girl who is getting married. There'll be in another room. So there'll be like what you call the person who is going in between them. Okay. To say, okay, they said they want this now. Then they'll, if it's money,
I like that. I really like that. It's actually, you know,
then if that's the day, on that day, that's the day they'll ask for the wedding. Their husband is to ask for the wedding, to say, I need to have a wedding with my wife. This part also is considered marriage as well.
Okay,
the dowry
traditional
thing. Traditional,
marriage.
exactly. It's a traditional marriage.
Okay.
Yeah, then when you go to the church, then the husband has to ask for permission. After giving all this, he still has to ask for permission.
The guy has to be serious.
Exactly. Usually, you know, it's not like he has to pay everything at once.
Okay.
You can pay whatever they want for that time.
Okay.
And gradually, after you have your wife, after even the wedding, when the kids. I remember my dad finished my mom's when I was already born.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like,
it's not
hey,
like
we
today.
want it right now.
No.
Okay, that's
you
good.
can do it gradually. Yeah.
And
then the other thing that's going to be tricky, my family is because we were born Christians. So some things, you know, we tend to follow what the Bible says.
Yes.
We have to, right?
Okay, yeah.
So sometimes when the dad, let's say, for example, my dad is late, right? So if my dad is gone now, if he didn't finish that, they'll put it on my brother. That's what some people do, but as we are Christians, we don't go that far in my family.
So
but
traditionally, somebody else still has to finish paying
the
that.
son. If he has a son, he has to.
Yes.
If he doesn't have the son, let's say his brothers can do it as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. Some people, they do that, but because of, you know, Christian, you know, we don't.
Yeah.
When he's gone, right?
He's gone,
so it's, So that's the wedding part. Then when he asks, I'll go back again. When he asks for the permission for the wedding, the church wedding, then they will say, okay, they are happy with whatever they give. But if they are not happy, they'll say, no, auntie, you will give us up to this much.
Really?
Or you give us these cows.
So I'm pretty sure before this happens, the girl is like, Mom, Dad, please.
You have to beg them.
Please.
Or you have to. But sometimes you don't have a saying though.
Yeah.
Because these are elderly. They are uncles, they are your dads, is there. So sometimes you have to go through your aunt. Auntie, can you please tell them to be at least, you know. Lenient, exactly. So so after that, when they accept to say, okay, you can have your wedding at the church, then that's when we set our date for a date again for the church wedding.
Okay.
Then, you know, at the church wedding, you know, the night before, you don't have to, like I think even here, you don't have to see your bride, your groom, or the groom doesn't have to see the bride, right? Yeah, we do that as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how it works. And then after the wedding, let's say when it comes to now you're pregnant, you want to have your kids, what we do is the woman, when you're towards giving birth, you go stay with your mom. Let's say on your 8th month, when you're towards your 9th month, you go live with your mom.
Is that a cultural thing?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, it is. So the husband, he still has to take a goat to say, you know what,
the husband has to take a goat with
with his
you.
wife. Listen, me,
Yeah.
the goat to my family, to my mom, to say, you know what, I need you to take. This is more like, you know, sometimes you need your mom.
Yes.
These are your last days of your
Yes.
pregnancy. It's tough. I have been pregnant. I have 2 boys, so
yes,
I know how
you know
tough
how
it is.
difficult it
Yeah.
can be.
So when the husband takes you to your mom's side, they will say, okay, we have our, I don't know how it's said in English, we call it masungiro. Like,
Okay.
you know, yeah, you go.
So you're going to say, okay,
Please,
she needs your
she's
help.
almost due. She needs your help. To know there are
Help
some
us.
things cultural that you have to do too when you are pregnant.
Yes.
To get ready for the child.
Okay.
So your mom is the only person that can teach you that.
Yes.
So you go there with your mom, and you know they'll sit down with you. The husband will take the goat, like I say. The goat will be another ceremony again. With the husband's
There's
family, if they want.
parties all the time in Zimbabwe.
Yeah. They will kill the goat the same day and celebrate to say, no, she's here. She's now getting ready for the baby. And then people just celebrate, drink whatever you want to drink and eat. Yeah.
Interesting. I guess it also takes away the doubt in the community where they're thinking, well, why did she come? Oh, is there something wrong in this marriage?
Exactly.
So the celebration lets the community know that it's not anything wrong. It's just that she's due, she needs help and all that.
Exactly. Yes.
That is exciting.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that was exciting. That is so rich and that is so deep. And I love that the culture, you know, is there in almost everything. Marriage, kids, you know, issues in life, and that is fantastic. We will be coming back. Don't go away right after this. Hello and welcome back to Home is Here. If you're just joining us, we have Nelly from Zimbabwe telling us a little bit about that culture. But right now, Nelly, we have fantastic looking food right now on the table. Tell us a little bit about this food.
What we have is what we call sadza and beef stew.
Okay.
Sadza, you make it from corn, like, you know, you grind it and make it powder.
Okay.
Then that's how you make sadza. You boil the water, and then while the water is about to boil, you start adding the corn, the powder part of it.
Okay.
And then you let it simmer for a little bit,
Okay.
and then after that you make it a little bit thick, like mashed potatoes.
Okay.
Basically, like the thickness. You serve it with stew. It's a good side dish for things like stew, like beef stew, chicken stew, fish, and then you also make it some vegetables on the side.
Okay, what type of vegetables?
We can use kale.
Kale, okay.
You can use collard. You can use spinach.
Okay.
Yeah, you put it on the side.
Interesting.
Yes.
So this looks absolutely fantastic and I really want to try it. But before we get there, I want you to tell us a little bit about what's the most important meal of the day in Zimbabwe?
Oh, mostly all the 3 meals.
Yes. Everything is important.
Yes.
Breakfast, lunch, supper.
We love our food. So breakfast, lunch, and supper. But sometimes you can have breakfast and then miss lunch.
Okay.
Skip lunch, sorry, and then you have your supper.
Okay.
Yes. But basically all 3 are important.
All right, so I am ready to have some of this. Are there any eating habits?
Yes.
That you, okay,
Yes.
tell us about those.
Absolutely. Before we eat, we wash our hands
Okay.
in a basin.
Okay.
We can put the water in a jug and then just pour each person, or you can just wash in the
actual basin.
Yeah, in the actual
okay,
basin.
I guess we have some water here.
Thank you, dear. So while you wash your hands, after you wash your hands, you use your hands to eat the
So
food.
you eat with your hands.
You eat with your hands.
My favorite.
You can as well eat it with a fork or a spoon if you want to.
Okay.
But basically back home, we use our hands to eat this.
Okay.
So you can use your hands like this, shaping
And
it
make it
in a little bowl.
Okay, all right.
Then you just dip in your stew, your sauce. You're right.
Anything.
You're right.
I'll try the beef. I'll go in for
Sure,
that.
go ahead. Yeah, with your hands. Yes. Thank you.
This is so good.
Thank you, dear.
This is absolutely amazing. So, is this meal just found in rural areas or as well as urban areas?
Both.
Both?
Because that's our staple food. So
Okay.
yes, you find it both rural and urban areas as well.
And so for the ingredients, do you find them here in Winnipeg?
Yes,
in
in
stores,
mostly ethnic stores, yes.
Okay, so if I went in a store and I wanted to buy that, would I just look for corn?
Yeah,
What would I be looking for?
It's written cornmeal.
Cornmeal?
Yes,
Okay.
or wheat meal, like
Oh,
the
wheat
one we
meal.
had today,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yeah,
That
even
is-
Superstore, they have it, but it also comes in a yellow color, like the
Okay.
corn that's yellow.
Yeah, the yellow. Yeah, the yellow
So
corn.
Superstore, I noticed they have the yellow one, but I prefer the white one though.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they still both taste the same because it's both corn, so yeah.
Well, this food is actually amazing, and if you do want to try some of it, be sure to send me pictures of it. I'll put them on our Facebook page as well as our website. My email address, fisiani@siniama.com. Don't go away. Nelly is still talking to us about games that she played when she was young, very unique to Zimbabwe, right after this. Thank you so much for joining us again for Home is Here. This is Fisiani Sinyama. I have with me Nelly from Zimbabwe, and right now we are talking about games. And tell us a little bit about Sango.
Sango is more like a mind and pay attention to detail game.
Okay.
This game, I love it because I grew up in the city, but the thing is my dad used to take us to the village.
Okay.
It's more like holidays, school holidays, our vacation is okay.
Is back to the
Take our
village.
bags, let's go visit grandma. My dad's mom was at the village. So Sango and Sango is the game that we used to play at the village, even with our village, as other villagers if we want, but mostly it was just our family.
Okay.
So when you go to the village, we would meet our cousins.
Yes.
And we are all there. It's more like my uncles.
It's a meeting place.
Exactly. Like, you know what you call a family reunion thing?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So we make sure on holiday we have that, that extended family. Like, you know, we call it family back home. We don't say extended. Like it's family.
it's all just family. Okay.
So we all get home, and then at night, when the moon is shining, we are outside. We play games. But
in the night?
Yes, usually it was in the night.
That is interesting.
Yeah, usually it was in the night. After our supper, then now it's game time. So sometimes we'll be sitting in one room, all of us, people just chatting. Then we say, it's time for games. So what we used to do with Sango game is, it's more like one person has to go outside. They will already know how the game works, like the rules as in what we have to do. But I'm just going to try to explain these rules as quick as I can.
And even as she explains these rules, we are going to have the instructions and rules on how to play these games on our website as well as our social media. So if you don't get it right now from Nelly, just be sure to check out those and you'll be able to get all those instructions. So go right ahead.
Sure. So with the Sango, we choose one person, or one person can volunteer, like, oh, I want to go outside. Because you're not supposed to hear what the other people are planning inside, like what you have to do when you come back inside.
Okay, so you're going outside, they're going to discuss something,
yes,
and that's what you're going to have to do.
You have to do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's more like a mind game. So when you go out, the people that are remain in the inside, we'll talk. I'm just going to give you examples. So let's say we'll say we want her when she comes back to pick up, let's say maybe there's a cup on the table.
Okay.
Pick up that cup, go with that cup and take some water, pour it in that cup, and maybe go give it to one of the uncles, let's say to my dad, right?
Yeah.
So we'll say, okay, we will have a drum that you'll be, playing and singing and clapping. So when the person comes in, we start singing. The clues that this person is having to know if she's doing the right thing
or not
is the beating of the drum.
Okay.
If the drum is beating slowly, like low, that means you are lost.
You are lost. Okay.
So if the drum is beating a little bit more and the clapping increases and the singing increases, that means you're heading
the right direction. Okay.
Exactly. So we'll start singing. It's called Sango we Sango re, oh re Sango we Sango we, Randremera Sango. It's more Sango is like a bush. People goes hunting. So you are hunting for that cup. That you have to find. And people, they get tired. So when you are getting lost, that means people are tired. They are hunting. They are tired. You are hunting that cup. You are going on the wrong direction. So they start beating the drum and the clapping and the singing low. So when you go towards the cup, we start beating the drum louder. And then when you take the cup, it's louder, more loud,
Yeah.
right? Then you think maybe that's it. No, it's not it. When you hear the drum singing, like beating
very low.
then you know there's something next that I have to do with
Yes.
this cup.
Okay.
So you start working on, maybe you try to give it to someone, then the drums go very,
Very low.
And
Okay.
the singing is dragging. That means you are lost. When you go towards where you have to fetch the water to put it in the cup, then the drum increases.
Increases.
So you just have to pay attention and also, to use your
You know,
mind.
I love the concept of this game because, like you were saying, it allows you to pay attention to detail, and it's also engaging.
Exactly.
And a lot of people can play it. Like a large family can play it, a small family can play it.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, so it goes on and on. Then when you fetch the water, we start, louder, it goes back like louder, 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 louder. Then it goes lower again because that cup we have to go, or that cup or glass, you have to go give it to the person we all agreed that
You should get the-
that you should get the glass. So yeah, so when it, same thing, it goes back again, low, low, low. If you are lost, it goes lower. The things goes lower. The clapping goes lower.
Lower, yeah.
Then when you are doing the right thing, it starts going a little high. So you just
That's
have
building.
to,
You have to, so you have to listen to the drum, the clapping, and the singing.
Then
And
when you did it to the right, then we started beating them higher. Then that's the end.
That's the end.
So
that
that's
is a fantastic game. I can see people playing this game, especially in our winters. Our winters are so cold, and you are stuck indoors, and this is a game that you can play with your family and just have fun with it indoors. Well, thank you so much for sharing Sango with us.
You're welcome.
Now you're going to talk about King. It's another game you used to play. Tell us about it.
This game, we could play it anyway. Like mostly we used to play it when we are home in the city. And you can even play it even when we go to visit my grandma too. So this game is also a mind and pay attention to detail game.
Okay.
Whereby it's also a group of people. Then one person needs to be out or away from what we are discussing, the group.
Okay.
We'll look for a job. Let's say we'll say, for example, a teacher.
Okay, yeah.
Or a nurse. Let's take a teacher, for example.
Okay.
So we discuss what we have to do. It will also, it's like in a sign, we do signs.
Okay.
Okay. So when we discuss, right now a group will be discussing like, okay, this is what we'll do. We'll act like, we are standing, a teacher is standing in front of the class.
Okay.
Yes, and we'll act like he's writing something on the blackboard. We'll use blackboards back home. Yeah.
There are whiteboards here. We use blackboards back home.
So you pretend like you're writing something. So this is like a teacher, right?
Yeah.
So then we'll call that person who is outside.
Or I guess marking the books.
Yeah, or maybe marking the books. Yeah, things like that. So we may say we'll start by writing on the board, and we'll start, the second thing will be marking the books.
The books.
So when the person comes, the person will be like, King, we want a job. That's what the person will be asking, like, I need a job. Then us people will say, what kind of a job? Then we say, then the person who is looking for a job will say, any job. Then you say, get ready to work. Then the group will start doing that sign, like, standing in front.
Yeah.
And then start writing
doing
on
the signs,
we'll be quiet, we don't talk, right?
Okay.
You're just writing on the board. Then you guess, we'll wait for you to guess. If you can't guess it, then we'll start, doing
something else.
Like,
so
we don't have a book,
you're kind of giving clues.
Clues, exactly.
Okay.
Then, you guess again, what is it? You scratch your head. Then finally when you get it, you say, teacher, right? Then we'll say, okay, amongst all of us, we'll give you the right hint.
Yes, like where did you get the clue?
Where did you get the best clue?
Yes.
So if you say, Nelly is the one who gave me the clue, then Nelly now will switch. Nelly will do the...
Will go be the one looking for the job.
For the job, yes.
That is awesome.
Yes.
I love this game because you can play it indoors or outdoors.
Yes, as well.
That is so fantastic.
Yes.
Well, thank you so very much for joining us today for Home is Here. Be sure to join us again next week for an all-new episode of Home is Here. Have a fantastic week.